You're listening to Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony. On the virus. Sirius-XM.
We kind of rushed Dane Cook off the phone. That wasn't on purpose.
No.
We thought Lee Majors was right behind us, and we knew Lee didn't have much time.
What do you mean by that?
Well,
literally?
Here comes the $6 million man walking down the hall.
That's him, all right.
How can you tell?
Well, because it looks like him.
Yes. Which one is he?
He's right there.
Is that him right there?
That's him.
Oh, that's him. I see him.
How cool is that?
That is very cool.
Lee Majors. There he is. Hello, Lee Majors.
Lee Majors in studio.
Very
wow.
Cool.
This is awesome.
I know.
Pleasure. How are you?
That is fantastic. Jeez.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Grew up watching you.
We sure
like
did.
Everybody else in this country.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Amazing. $6 million man.
You look great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are you a healthy eater, like a healthy, or do you just genetics have been good to you?
Listen, if you've done as many action shows as I've done, you run your butt off, you stay in shape.
Oh, yeah?
You know?
He's done some action shows, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Did you do all your own stunts or a lot of them?
Probably about 80% of it. Now.
We asked that because Tom Cruise is doing all his own stunts and doing some crazy things lately.
Yeah. Yeah, but you have guys that protect you, that set these stunts up, that they know what they're doing. So I never did anything without having an expert there.
Was there one you wanted to do and people just said, look, you're too valuable to us?
There's
you
one that I
can't do
didn't
this.
want to do that I ended up doing.
Oh, which one?
It's a long story.
Too long?
It's something to do with the tram in Palm Springs, up on the cables. Going from one tower to the middle of the towers where a car was stuck with supposedly a bunch of kids in it, and get there was tough.
And which show is this for?
6 mil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about there, because the big box set is out. Wow. This thing weighs.
It's a big box set.
That is a big box set, and of course, when you open it up, you hear the very familiar opening of the show. Yeah.
Do you ever get sick of being associated with that role, or are you happy to a bit? Because it's like sometimes actors like, all right, I did that role and then I moved on.
Well, I moved on, but because I did another series right now.
Fall Guy was huge.
Fall Guy was huge. But so I forgot about it, and then I went on. I've done about seven or eight series. So and I keep very active doing it. So I don't really think back about it until people bring it up. So. But I did do the Fall Guy. Mainly to see if I could rid myself of some of that, being put in that box.
Yeah,
that box.
The box, yeah.
Right. Just to
But
see
it really didn't work all that well as I thought it would.
Sure. But it's not a bad place to be, being known for, the $6 million man.
And the Fall Guy was huge. I mean, that show was huge.
Fall Guy was 5 years, and they wanted to do another year of that. But I kind of got a burnout right at that period.
Yeah.
And I needed to get away and take a break. So I did.
Like from the whole business or the show itself?
I walked away for about 10 years.
Damn.
I went to Florida and played a lot of golf.
You know, it's amazing because through the reruns and stuff, no one really was like, hey, where's Lee? It was just kind of like you were always on television.
You go away, but
constantly.
But you were
that's
still
why
on TV.
I think I was getting burned out, and I was afraid the audiences might be getting burned out with me. So
what did that feel like? The burnout? Were you just tired, or were you kind of like?
I was just physically and mentally tired.
It's
just
the
kind of wanted to get away from L.A., Hollywood, and that thing, and that's what I did. I went to Fort Lauderdale and stayed for about 10 years.
Now, the time you were on TV doing $6 Million Man and The Fall Guy. There was a lot of partying going on in Hollywood. Did you ever get caught up in any of that?
Listen, when you're working as much as I was, you're doing 12, 13, 14 hours a day. Yeah. I was living on the lot. I had an apartment at Universal for 6 mil and one at 20th Century Fox for The Fall Guy. And I only went home on the weekends. And so you don't get out as much as people think. It's not like doing a half-hour comedy and then go be Charlie Sheen. It's plus let's put it this way. Back then, people, they weren't on top of you as quickly as they are now with the internet and the TMZ, and you can't do anything without right away you're on.
It is amazing how much longer it took to get that personal information. It was usually through the the rag magazines that you'd see at the supermarkets.
It takes them weeks to print them up. Months, you know.
And a lot of it, people would just, take it tongue-in-cheek, like, really? Is that what...
Yeah.
You don't really believe them for the most part.
Couldn't really believe them because it was next to the issue of Bat Boy and things like that, flying saucers and whatnot. So what do you think about the paparazzi these days and just the need of people to want to know every aspect of a celebrity's personal life?
I don't know because, I'm not a computer person and I'm not online. I don't do any of that stuff. And it's amazing because, I remember when we were working so many hours out on location, and to get to a phone, you had to hopefully get a driver that would find a payphone within 10 miles so that you could make a phone call.
Yeah.
So, and today these kids are just texting every second. It's just amazing.
It was also, we had talked about the accessibility to celebrities now because in the old days, you had to physically write a letter to that celebrity and hope they read it and send something back to you. Now through various texting and Twitter and websites and whatnot, you really do have this accessibility to celebrities that you never had before, and I think it does open up celebrities to more of their private life being out in the open.
Also, I think, with so many reality shows, back then, let's face it, we only had three networks, three major networks.
Yeah.
Maybe the fourth one was barely coming in.
Get up and change the channel.
Now you've got so many channels, and it's just ridiculous. But some of these kids, they go on a reality show and overnight they're a star, and then now they're on the red carpet to rehab.
Right, yeah. And then overnight they're not a star, and they realize it's a little fleeting, and paying your dues. Yeah.
How hard was it being who you are, and you were married to Farrah, who was just America was in love with, and to be in that high profile type of a situation, and then when it comes to an end, the whole country kind of knows. Was that something that was difficult to deal with? Like the country kind of focusing on your, you know what I mean? Is that a difficult thing to deal with?
Like I say, it still wasn't as bad as it could be today.
Imagine today.
Brad and Jennifer Aniston thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But being that we both had hit shows around the same time, that was. But that's one of the things that makes it difficult in this business. We were together for quite a while, but then I saw her 2 weeks in 1 year. Due to career jobs. So, just separation is not good for this.
Yeah, that does seem to be something that would...
And you were able to reconcile, right? Which was, it's rare in life that you get to reconcile with somebody.
He went about 23 years not talking to her, right? And then you got to talk to her before she passed.
Yeah, it's funny in that you'd think you'd see people in that town, but you don't. And you do go about your business and you don't think about it. And, of course, I met a wonderful lady 16 years ago and have been married for 16 years now with a beautiful girl, Faith. I keep the faith now. She's out there.
That's great.
So you were at least able to, like I said, to reconcile. Which is, it's nice to be able to do that when somebody's not, when somebody is sick.
Well, ours was a very friendly thing. It was just very amicable. It was just, it's like we just don't have the time for this right now.
Yeah,
so.
that would have to be crazy too. Just the
it wasn't like getting caught texting and stuff like that.
Right. I do remember it was a very public...
It wasn't a Brett Favre kind of thing.
No, nothing like that.
Let's be honest, if I was packing that small, I wouldn't be sending that out to people. Brett Favre.
That was the first mistake he made.
How cruel you are. Brett kind of...
Got at least use one of the enlarged features on the camera. You don't, Brett. You're a Hall of Famer.
What are you, a
rookie? It was, though. You were in all of those magazines, though, all those years ago.
Yeah,
and,
but
some of them were...
I kept a pretty clean reputation. And,
that's...
I'm proud of the fact that I kind of kept my nose clean and just did my work. That was most important. If you don't do your work, and you could kill yourself in that business really quick, because word gets around if you're doing this or that, and you won't work.
Yeah, you see a lot of actors these days kind of...
Of course, today it's a completely different ballgame as far as...
Yeah. Well, also, you got, guys on the production staff with their cell phones, and they got the cameras, and now they're catching actors having a temper tantrum, fights with directors, and, overnight, you're difficult to work with.
Yep.
It's, again, I think there was a lot more discretion back in the day where
there certainly was.
Yeah, you didn't have the crew pretty much ratting you out for things that you're doing. It is amazing these days.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself a sex symbol in those days? I mean, it seemed like you had.
I never considered myself a sex symbol anytime.
No.
No.
Well, the ladies did, though.
Yeah, they sure did.
They did. That's for sure.
I was always kind of with one lady, so I never really was out there that much.
Was the temptation hard? Because, I mean, I find it hard to resist, and I very rarely have opportunity.
No, it wasn't that hard, no.
You get used to it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Do you look back at the $6 Million Man? Because the box set is out now.
Yeah, can we talk about that?
Sure.
It's the complete collection. Open it up again. Steve Austin. It's, wow. How many shows did you do?
Well, there's 40 DVDs in that.
40 DVDs.
Yes. Well, we did 100 episodes.
Wow.
5 years, 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And then there's 6 movies in there. We did 3 movies, pilot movies, before we went to series. Then we did 3 reunion movies after we went off the air. So it's quite a package, and you can't get it in the stores. It's not available in the stores. It's only going to be available online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on 6mdm.com.
6mdm.com.
It's just a wonderful Christmas package, and I think a lot of families that the fathers who grew up with it. Mm-hmm. Will show it to their kids because it's one that you can sit down with your kids and watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't kill anybody. We didn't have a lot of blood. We didn't. It's not like the violent stuff of today.
Right.
Blow up stuff and you got to shoot somebody. These videos are so violent. If I had a kid today, I wouldn't. I'd be really watching what they're.
Really? Do you think that's changed over time as you got older, or do you think that's just how you always felt?
It's. Me personally,
yeah.
I just steal from old school. I grew up watching Roy Rogers and Gene Autry. Those are my heroes, and the guy in the white hat always won.
I remember the episode of Fall Guy when they all
Roy
guest starred
Rogers
with you. Yeah.
And we did a quick a scene where we were coming out of the old saloon and get on the horses to chase the bad guys who drove off in a Jeep like we're going to catch them.
And on horseback.
Roy had the 2 pearl-handled guns on in his holster, which was very heavy, and had trigger lined up there at the corral. So we ran and I jumped up and I'm swinging over and I'm watching to see if he's okay because you don't want to take off before the other guy. Keep the shot close. Plus, once you get on one horse and it goes, the other horse wants to go. Right. So anyway, he missed his stirrup. And he looked at me and he said, "Lee, I think my spring is sprung." But we did it again, and we were riding out of town, and I'm looking over saying, "Man, I'm riding next to Roy Rogers, and I'm after the bad guys. I thought I died and gone to heaven."
It was legitimately like your old heroes. That
definitely.
And then to be able to do that on the show, I remember that one. That was a good episode.
What was the first gig you landed when you got to Hollywood? Like the first thing you auditioned for and actually got?
Well, embarrassingly, the first piece of film I ever did, no, it wasn't porn. It was, it may sound like it, no. I did a movie called Straight Jacket. I played Joan Crawford's husband. And in my little town in Kentucky, they came from all the hollers all around down to this little theater. On the marquee, it said, starring Lee Majors in Straight Jacket, also starring Joan Crawford. And I packed the little theater, and she chopped my head off with an axe before the credits came on. And that was the end of me. So
that was your starring role.
Oh, that was it. And then, of course, there was a couple of other guest spots I did where I got killed. Alfred Hitchcock, I got killed as a race car driver. I did the Gunsmoke, and Jim Arness shot me in the middle of the street. I never saw him. He was in Hawaii.
Oh, really? It was done later on?
He had been on that show so long that they had a double that would shoot over his back onto me, right? So that I would do my part with this double and get killed and fall in the streets. Well, he'd fly in from Hawaii a month later and stand there, and they'd get a shot of him back the other direction and a close-up. And he'd fire his gun, and that was it. He'd go back to Hawaii. That's about the way he did all his shots.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Hollywood magic.
Damn.
So how was Joan Crawford? Because you hear, that she was very difficult. Was she pleasant to you, or what would you see?
She was a very, very tough lady. She had to have the set at about 48 degrees or lower, because she didn't want her makeup to run. So all the crew people were wearing their parkas around, and you could see the breast coming out.
Wow.
She was married to a guy who was the head of Pepsi-Cola.
Oh, wow.
And they had a machine. But you still had to put 20 cents in to get the pop.
Did anybody say to her, "Hey, Joan, it's cold in here"?
No. Nobody said anything to her. No.
Probably not. No.
The Virus. Sirius-XM. This is the Opie and Anthony Show.